So, Bria, you made your feature film debut with The Florida Project, a film that's gotten wide praise from critics and audiences. Why do you think the film has struck such a chord with so many people that have seen it?
Well, I feel like the cinematography is very beautiful. The story is very beautiful. I feel like there hasn't been a film that kind of tells such an impactful story from a child's perspective. And it's just the right time for a project like this. I feel like people are looking for stories like this, and Shawn just did a very good job with the casting, and the whole film's very special and magical.
So, I mean, like I said, this is your feature film debut. So, tell us a little bit about how you got the job. What was the audition like? How'd you find out about it?
Well, I had never acted before, and I never had pursued acting or thought of it as a career choice. And Shawn actually found me on Instagram, and he reached out via direct message, and then we emailed, and we got on the phone, and he told me a little bit about the story, and I really thought it was a great story, and I flew to Orlando. Brooklyn and Valeria, the two little girls, were already cast. And so I met Brooklyn, and me and her just hit it off from the second we met. And I definitely think Shawn and the financiers had their concerns because I wasn't an actress, but Shawn really felt like I could do a good job. And so I took classes on set for like 2-3 weeks with an amazing acting teacher, Samantha Kwan. And it really helped because the classes were at the Magic Castle. So I just got very familiar with the environment and really got to understand where Hailey was coming from. So it was very helpful.
Tell us a little bit about Hailey. Who is she?
Well, Hailey's a young mom. She's struggling. She has a daughter that she is taken care of by herself. And she just doesn't really have a lot of opportunities. She doesn't have a formal education. She has a record. She has so many things going against her, and she's just trying to keep a roof over her head and feed her daughter. She is just really going through a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like you said, I mean, she's a young mother, and you know, she makes a lot of mistakes in the movie, but she's also, at the end of the day, still trying to, in her own way, do what's best for her daughter, right?
Yeah, of course. I feel like at the end of the day, Mooney is all she has, you know? And on top of being her daughter, that's her best friend. So she definitely, that's her main concern. And yeah, she does things she doesn't necessarily want to do, but it's not for her, it's for Mooney, you know? So I definitely admire that about her a lot, is that she always puts her daughter first. She never puts her stresses on Mooney. She never tells Mooney we can't pay the rent or we can't eat or whatever. She always figures it out somehow. And to me, that's very admirable.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, you'd never thought about acting before, and you took acting lessons. I wonder, I mean, what were some things that you learned, some things that you figured out that really helped you get into the character?
Well, I did a lot of just character development classes, and my biggest concern was memorizing my lines. I was so scared of having that moment of just being on this full set and just standing there and everyone is just on you and then you just blank out. That's so scary to me, but thankfully that didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, it definitely also helped the fact that I got to hang out with a lot of the women that lived there, and they really just welcomed me into their world and told me their stories and their struggles and their situations that they're faced with every single day. And developing a relationship with Brooklyn was very helpful as well, because for the more intense scenes, by the time those were filmed, I had such a strong connection with her and just such a special relationship that it struck me on a deeper level, because I cared for this girl and I loved this girl and I felt protective over her. So it definitely felt very real when all the heavy stuff kind of was happening.
And you also had the opportunity to work with Willem Dafoe. What was that experience like?
He is such an amazing guy. I didn't know what to expect, and I was definitely very nervous. But he I really respected the fact that he treated all of us like we were equal, and he was just very approachable and very helpful, and just whatever we needed, he was kind of there, and he really believed in the film and each of us and our individual roles, and that just was very helpful. And throughout this whole process, he's just really been there. And anytime I need advice or anytime I need to talk, he's always there. So I really appreciate him.
And I mean, working with Shawn Baker, I mean, he's working with you and Willem Dafoe and Brooklynn Prince and all these other children. What did he do as a director that helped you guys gel as an ensemble?
Well, he just had this beautiful vision, and the way he guided us through the whole process, I've literally never seen anything like it. He just was just so inspired and so motivated and so helpful, and just really walked each of us through our characters and through the whole process. And any questions I needed, he answered. He was just so present and there. And it was just really cool. There would be moments where, for instance, I'd be like, Hailey would word this different or whatever, and he always let us make those little changes, because I feel like he really believed in us, that we really understood our characters. And he was just such a pleasure to work with. He's so talented, and I'm very, very thankful. He literally changed my whole life. Like, I love him so much.
What was the most difficult scene for you to shoot in the film? I mean, there's a lot of really intense emotional material in here. Was there a particular moment that really sort of terrified you on the day, or?
I think the fighting scene was very intense, especially for the fact that I was in a very good mood that day. So right before we started filming that, I was like, oh, I need to get myself mad, because it was just a lot of energy that had to be exerted. So that definitely was challenging, but it was one of my favorite scenes. I just felt like it was very real and very raw.
Well, what did you do to put yourself into that kind of attitude?
Um, I don't even know. I just remember I just was it really right before we started filming it, I was just going over all the moves with the stunt people, and it kind of just got me like hyped up. So that definitely helped, because my blood pressure was definitely up. Yeah, and Samantha Kwan, the acting teacher, was always there with me on set, and she was very helpful. She always kind of knew how to get me where I needed to go.
Mhm. The film is shot on location in Florida. Can you talk a little bit about shooting in Florida?
Yeah, we shot it in Kissimmee. We shot it in the summer, so it was very, very hot. The area is just so vibrant. There's so many beautiful locations and so many colors, and it's definitely a very special place. I had never been to that area before, and we were there for quite a while, so I got to do a lot of the local things, and I definitely had a very good time.
And shooting at this hotel, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Magic Castle, it's so crazy. It's so eye-catching. The first time I drove past it, I was like, whoa, the colors just so beautiful. So it was still running while we were shooting, so it was really cool, because there were just a lot of locals around who Shawn used as extras in the film. So it was very cool, because on top of coming to like a crew, there would just be all these like awesome local people just who were staying there, and they definitely were very welcoming, and taught me a lot about the area and about the motel, and it's just a very special place. We were there so much, I almost felt like I was living there for the summer, and it definitely being there taught me a lot.
Mhm. Um, I had something and I lost it. Well, I mean, I don't remember what it is. So the movie ends with this sort of kind of magical realism type thing with Mooney running off to Disneyland to, escape from Child Protective Services. I wonder, what do you think happens to Mooney and Hailey after the film is over? Have you thought about that at all, or?
Honestly, I've thought about so many different scenarios, but none of them feel right. So I always left it as that's just the end, and I don't know what happens. I wish I knew, but I definitely hope for the best, because they need to be together.
So, I mean, since you've acted and you're film debut for the very first time. Any plans to try to pursue this? What's next for you?
I definitely want to pursue it, but it's also, I feel like I got very blessed with this being my first thing, and I definitely want to be smart. I don't just want to do roles that don't mean anything to me. So I definitely want to wait until I find something special that I really connect with.
Well, it's a great movie, and congratulations on it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're welcome. You too.